Haribo, namaste, everyone.
Haribo.
Thank you for joining us for Śrīmad Bhāgavatam reading today. And please excuse my raspy voice after that wonderful kirtan by Rupananda. It's going to sound even worse.
I'm just going to sit out there with you guys. Thank you.
Om Jnanatimirandasya Jananjana Shalakaya Chakshulun Militam Jena Tajmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kara Rati Swapadantikam. I was born in the darkest of ignorance, but my spiritual masters have opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto them. When will Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, who is established within this material world, the mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya, give me shelter at his lotus feet? So today we'll be continuing with the 8th canto of the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, the 16th chapter, the Payo-vrata process of worship. So a little catch me up for anyone who hasn't been following along. The demons and the demigods are always battling, both in the upper planetary systems, the lower planetary systems, these middle planetary systems. It's always just a continuous fight between the devotees and the demons. Sometimes the demons are successful, sometimes the devotees are successful, all according to Krishna's arrangement, so that everyone can hopefully come to the point of realizing that there's no happiness unless one surrenders to the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. So in the recent history of what's going on, the demons had been overpowered the demigods. So the demigods wanted some help from Vishnu. So Vishnu arranged for them to churn the ocean of milk to produce this nectar that would make their bodies immortal to a certain extent. And so the demons and the devotees, the demigods, all got together, and Vishnu came in and helped them out, and they churned the ocean of milk. And then to show his favor to the devotees, Krishna arranged for the incarnation of Mohini Murti to appear, who cheated the demons and gave all the nectar to the demigods. And so then the demigods became powerful. They defeated all the demons. The demons' bodies were crushed and destroyed in the big battle. But then they took shelter of Sukracharya, who was their spiritual master. And through the prowess of Sukracharya, most of their bodies were resurrected. Bali Maharaj became very pleasing to his spiritual master, Sukracharya. Sukracharya therefore blessed Bali Maharaj with this benediction that he could become undefeated. And so Bali Maharaj led a resurgence of the demons. They've again conquered the demigods. They've driven the demigods from the heavenly planets. The demigods are now hiding out in various places incognito. And Aditi, the mother of the demigods, is very distraught because her sons are suffering. And Aditi is the wife of Kashyapa Muni, who has 13 wives that he got from Daksha. And one of the other wives is Diti, who's the mother of the demons. And so Diti's concerned that because Kashyapa is the father of both the demons and the demigods, he might have some ambivalence and might have some soft feelings for the demons as well. So she's asked Kashyapa Muni to help her appeal to Lord Vishnu, because Lord Vishnu is always in favor, favors his devotees. So she's asked for a way to please Lord Vishnu, so that Vishnu will be pleased with her, so that her sons can be restated as the enjoyers of the heavenly kingdom. And so he's telling her about the Payo-vrata process of worship. It's a process of worshiping Lord Vishnu for 12 days. And he's been laying it out. And I think the last time we got through what? Text 21, Aaron?
One sec, I have it right here. Yeah, yep, that's right.
Yeah.
So we're on 22. Yep.
Yeah, we're going to start. Okay, so we're just going to reread 19, 20, and 21, and then continue with 22. So Kashyapa Muni is instructing his wife Aditi on how to engage in this process of the Payo-vrata process for worshiping Vishnu. Kashyapa Muni continued, "What is this material body made of 5 elements? It is different from the spirit soul. Indeed, the spirit soul is completely different from the material elements from which the body is made. But because of bodily attachment, one is regarded as a husband or son. These illusory relationships are caused by misunderstanding. My dear Aditi, engage in devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the master of everything, who can subdue everyone's enemies, and who sits within everyone's heart. Only that Supreme Person, Krishna or Vasudeva, can bestow all auspicious benedictions upon everyone, for he is the spiritual master of the universe. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is very merciful to the poor, will fulfill all your desires, for devotional service unto him is infallible. Any method other than devotional service is useless. That is my opinion." Text 22. Srimati Aditi said, "O Brahman, tell me the regulative principles by which I may worship the Supreme Master of the world, so that the Lord will be pleased with me and fulfill all my desires." Purport. It is said, man proposes, God disposes. Thus a person may desire many things, but unless these desires are fulfilled by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they cannot be fulfilled. Fulfillment of desire is called Satya Sakalpa. Here the word Satya Sankalpa is very important. Aditi placed herself at the mercy of her husband so that he would give her directions by which to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, so that all her desires would be fulfilled. A disciple must first decide that he should worship the Supreme Lord, and then the spiritual master will give the disciple correct directions. One cannot dictate to the spiritual master, just as a patient cannot demand that his physician prescribe a certain type of medicine. Here is the beginning of worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 7:16. Chaturvidha bhajante mam jnana sukritanarjana artha jignasur artashi jnani cha brahmashashabha. O best of the Bharatas, 4 kinds of pious men render devotional service unto me: the distressed, the desire of wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for knowledge of the Absolute. Aditi was Atra, a person in distress. She was very much aggrieved because her sons, the demigods, were bereft of everything. Thus, she wanted to take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead under the direction of her husband, Kashyapa Muni. So as we discussed last week, Aditi, while she's a very nice devotee of Krishna, she's still on the platform of Kanista Adhikari, a devotee who has material desires to be fulfilled. So even though she has a very qualified husband as a spiritual master, and even though she's heard so many wonderful things from him, and he's been engaging in so many amazing activities to set a good example for her, she's still overwhelmed by these material conceptions of life, that these particular people are her sons, and therefore she cares about them more than she cares about the demons, and she's wanting their welfare, and she wants to see the demise of the demons. She's not seeing things as they actually are, that everyone is the child of Krishna, and that Krishna loves everyone unconditionally. And even though Krishna favors his devotees, it doesn't mean that he doesn't love everyone unconditionally. So she's trying to invoke the pleasure of Lord Vishnu to fulfill her desires instead of trying to engage in devotional service out of a desire to be pleasing to Krishna. Text 23. O best of the Brahmins, kindly instruct me in the perfect method of worshiping the Supreme Personality of Godhead in devotional service, by which the Lord may very soon be pleased with me and save me, along with my sons, from this most dangerous condition. Purport. Sometimes less intelligent men ask whether one has to approach a guru to be instructed in devotional service for spiritual advancement. The answer is given here. Indeed, not only here, but also in Bhagavad Gita, where Arjuna accepted Krishna as his guru. Shishyaste ham smriti mam twaham prapanam. The Vedas also instruct, tad vijnataranam sagurum eva bachirachet. One must accept a guru for proper direction if one is seriously inclined toward advancement in spiritual life. The Lord says that one must worship the Acharya, who is the representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Acharyam mam vijananyat. One should definitely understand this. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said that the Guru is the manifestation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, according to all the evidence given by the Shastra and by the practical behavior of devotees, one must accept a guru. Aditi accepted her husband as her guru so that he would direct her how to advance in spiritual consciousness, devotional service, by worshiping the Supreme Lord. So this is such an important point, that one must accept a spiritual master. And some people, out of envy, may ask, why is that? Right? Krishna is in my heart. Krishna states this in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is in his heart. He gives instruction. He can instruct you. From him comes all knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. So if all knowledge and remembrance and forgetfulness is coming from Krishna, then why do we need a guru? Krishna is right there in your heart. Bhagavad Gita is right there in print. Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is right there in print. Chaitanya Charitamrita is right there in print. Why can't you just pick up the book and read the book? Listen to the Lord in the heart and make perfect advancement in spiritual life. Especially these Śrīmad Bhāgavatams, right? These Śrīmad Bhāgavatams are, in this Bhagavad Gita, is presented as it is by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who's coming in perfect disciplic succession from Krishna himself over 5,000 years. These purports are just incredible. They're so amazing. There's so much knowledge and information there. Why can't we just read the book? Why do we have to find a living spiritual master and accept him as our guru? And when we first started giving these classes some 5 or 6 years ago, whenever it was, this is one of the first questions that came up. You know, if we have these wonderful books by Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, why do I need to find a living spiritual master? So, why do you need a living spiritual master? Anyone?
Haribo.
How about Caleb?
To make, oh,
Hey,
sorry, go
Krishna.
ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Aaron.
I was just going to say to make sure we get the message properly.
That's a good reason. Go ahead, Caleb.
Hello.
I can hear you, Kayla.
Oh, I said you can go ahead, Aaron, if you like.
Oh, I did.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
No worries. Probably connection hiccup.
So what did you have, Caleb?
Oh, you muted.
To me, it seems maybe a little simple and probably not correct, but for me, I need Srila Prabhupada because then I can check with scripture and then also check with Krishna in my heart, and then it's confirmed. So I need Srila Prabhupada's instructions.
You need Srila Prabhupada's instructions in what way?
Meaning that he's a pure representative of Krishna and he's telling me the absolute truth. So if I don't have him, then all I have is scripture and the Lord in my heart. And then I might be getting polluted by the 3 modes of material nature. I might be getting, you know what I mean? Like that might be influencing it. So then if I have Srila Prabhupada and then something gets confirmed in my heart, I hear it in scripture, I hear it in a lecture, then it's like, wow, that's the absolute truth.
Well, some people may argue that the purports in the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam and the Bhagavad Gita are non-different than the teachings of Ananda. So why do you need to hear from Ananda if you can hear from the purports and the many recorded lectures of Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, or the writings of Bhakti Vinod Thakur? These are all gurus in our disciplic succession.
Well, Srila Prabhupada speaks to us where we are right now, you know, like he can speak directly to me and where I'm at, you know, and he speaks in this time and place and circumstance.
Is that a question?
It's a mixture.
Point. That's a very good point. But the point I'm trying to get at is, what is Krishna's instruction about the spiritual master? In Bhagavad Gita, what does he say?
We have to accept the spiritual, just approach a spiritual master and inquire from him submissively and render service unto him.
And the self-realized
and then you should
Part knowledge, yeah.
Right?
Because he is seeing the truth.
So this is Krishna's arrangement, right? Who is the
Yeah.
spiritual master? He's the external representative of Krishna, right? Krishna is arranged for this pure devotee to be in your space. so that you can follow his instructions. So you can follow his instruction. You can follow his instruction to approach a bona fide spiritual master, inquire from him submissively, render service unto him, right? This is the process. If you try to think, I don't need this, Krishna sent you his representative. And you're going to say, oh, I don't need that. I don't need that representative. Thank you anyway, Krishna. But I think I'll choose this other representative over here. It's kind of like this point that Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada is making about that the patient doesn't dictate to the doctor. The doctor instructs the patient. So Krishna has instructed us this process, how to learn about him, how to come close to him. The spiritual master is very dear to Krishna. He's the most confidential servant of Krishna. And if one rejects the spiritual master, if one rejects the living representative of Krishna, how can you be pleasing to Krishna? Right? So it's not a mechanical process. It's a process of love. It's a surrendering of love. It's an appreciation that Krishna has sent his representative for me in this particular time, place, and circumstance. He's given me the opportunity to inquire from him submissively, render service unto him, and become educated by him. And through the mercy and the grace of the spiritual master, then one can start to hear the Lord in the heart.
Aribo, Drsya,
Yep.
I was just wondering if you still have your original sound on.
No, I turned it
Because,
off.
oh, okay, just making sure.
Is there a problem?
Didn't want you to have to. Oh, your voice is a little quieter than the other voices, but we can still hear you fine. I just thought if you forgot to turn it off, then you could even be louder. But I was just checking.
Using my
Thank
other
you.
mic today, I can increase the gain. Like that.
Oh, okay. Say something.
Right. And I've also changed the pattern on it, so it's not going to the side as much. Is that better? Or to make
I
it,
can't tell for sure yet, but it's not worse. So.
well, we can also just unplug this mic and go back to the mic we usually use. Is it getting?
Oh, that is a little bit louder, actually. Yeah.
Text 24. Sri Kashyapa Muni said, when I desired offspring, I placed inquiries before Lord Brahma, who is born from a lotus flower. Now I shall explain to you the same process Lord Brahma instructed me, by which Keshava, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is satisfied. Purport. Here the process of devotional service is further explained. Kashyapa Muni wanted to instruct Aditi in the same process recommended to him by Brahma for satisfying the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is valuable. The Guru does not manufacture a new process to instruct the disciple. The disciple receives from the Guru an authorized process received by the Guru from his Guru. This is called the system of the cyclic succession. Evam param param imam rajasho vidhu. This is the bona fide Vedic system of receiving the process of devotional service, by which the Supreme Personality of Godhead is pleased. Therefore, to approach a bona fide guru or spiritual master is essential. The bona fide spiritual master is he who has received the mercy of his guru, who in turn is a bona fide because he has received the mercy of his guru. This is called the parampara system. Unless one follows this parampara system, the mantra one receives will be chanted for no purpose. Nowadays, there are so many rascal gurus who manufacture their mantras as a process for material advancement, not spiritual advancement. Still, the mantra cannot be successful if it is manufactured. Mantras and the process of devotional service have a special power, provided they are received from the authorized person. Is that more clear now? He says it so much better than I do. Text 25. In the bright fortnight of the month of Falguna, February, March, for 12 days, ending with Dwadasi, one should observe the vow of subsisting only on milk and should worship the lotus-eyed Supreme Personality of Godhead with all devotion. Purport. Worshipping the Supreme Lord Vishnu with devotion means following Archana Marga. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smarnam Parasevanam Archanam Vandanam Dashyam Sakyam Atma Nivaram. One should install the deity of Lord Vishnu or Krishna and worship him nicely by dressing him, decorating him with flower garlands, and offering him all kinds of fruits, flowers, and cooked food, nicely prepared with ghee, sugar, and grains. One should also offer a flame, incense, and so on, while ringing a bell as prescribed. This is called worship of the Lord. Here it is recommended that one observe the vow of subsisting only by drinking milk. This is called Payo-vrata. As we generally perform devotional service on Ekadasi by not eating grains, it is generally recommended that on Dwadasi one not consume anything but milk. Payo-vrata, an archana of devotional service to the Supreme Lord, should be performed with a pure devotional attitude, bhaktya. Without bhakti, one cannot worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhaktya mam abhijananti yavan yashmi yamashvata tatvataha. If one wants to know the Supreme Personality of Godhead and be directly connected with him, knowing what he wants to eat and how he is satisfied, one must take to the process of bhakti. It is recommended here also, bhaktya paramatma vaivita. One should be surcharged with unalloyed devotional service. 26. If dirt dug up by a boar is available, on the day of the dark moon, one should smear this dirt on his body and then bathe in a flowing river. While bathing, one should chant the following mantra. O Mother Earth, you were raised by the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of a boar because of your desiring to have a place to stay. I pray that you kindly vanquish all the reactions of my sinful life. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Thereafter, one should perform his daily spiritual duties and then, with great attention, offer worship to the deity of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and also to the altar, the sun, water, fire, and the spiritual master. O Supreme Personality of Godhead, greatest of all, who lives in everyone's heart, and in whom everyone lives, O witness of everything, O Vasudeva, supreme and all-pervading person, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, the Supreme Person. Being very subtle, you are never visible to material eyes. You are the knower of the 24 elements, and you are the inaugurator of the Sankhya Yoga system. Purport. Chaturvidmash Guna. The 24 elements are the 5 gross elements, earth, water, fire, air, and ether. The 3 subtle elements, mind, intelligence, and false ego. The 10 senses, 5 for working and 5 for acquiring knowledge. The 5 sense objects, and contaminated consciousness. These are the subject matter of Sankhya Yoga, which was inaugurated by Sri Kapila Dev. This Sankhya Yoga was again propounded by another Kapila, but he was an atheist, and his system is not accepted as bona fide. Text 31. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who have two heads, Prayaniya and Udayaniya, 3 legs, Sarvanatraya, 4 horns, the 4 Vedas, and 7 hands, the 7 Chandras, such as Gayatri. I offer my obeisances unto you, whose heart and soul are the 3 Vedic rituals, Karmakanda, Jnanakanda, and Upashanakanda, and who expand these rituals in the form of sacrifice. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, Lord Shiva or Rudra, who are the reservoir of all potencies, the reservoir of all knowledge, and the master of everyone. Purport by Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. It is the system for one to offer obeisances unto the expansion or incarnation of the Lord. Lord Shiva is the incarnation of ignorance, one of the material modes of nature. 33. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who are situated as Hayagarbha, the source of life, the supersoul of every living entity. Your body is the source of the opulence of all mystic power. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who are the original personality of Godhead, the witness in everyone's heart, and the incarnation of Narayan Rishi in the form of a human being. O personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. My Lord, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who are dressed in yellow garments, whose bodily hue resembles the Marakata gem, and who have full control over the goddess of fortune. O my Lord Keshava, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. O most exalted and worshipable Lord, best of those who bestow benediction, you can fulfill the desires of everyone, and therefore those who are sober for their own welfare worship the dust of your lotus feet. All the demigods, as well as the goddess of fortune, engage in the service of his lotus feet. Indeed, they respect the fragrance of those lotus feet. May the Supreme Personality of Godhead be pleased with me. Kashyapa Muni continued. By chanting all these mantras, welcoming the Supreme Personality of Godhead with faith and devotion, and offering him items of worship, such as Padya and Agaya, one should worship Keshava, Hrishikesh, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the beginning, the devotee should chant the Dwadadashakara mantra and offer flower garlands, incense, and so on. After worshiping the Lord in this way, one should bathe the Lord with milk and dress him with proper garments, a sacred thread, and ornaments. After offering water to wash the Lord's feet, one should again worship the Lord with fragrant flowers, incense, and other paraphernalia. Purport. The Dwadakshakara mantra is Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. While worshiping the deity, one should ring a bell with his left hand and offer Padya, Agra, Vastra, Gandha, Mala, Abharanya, Bhushana, and so on. In this way, one should bathe the Lord with milk, dress him, and again worship him with all paraphernalia. So this is the process of deity worship. So Krishna is so kind that not only does he appear in this world as his representative, the spiritual master, to introduce us back to him and to instruct us how to become again close to him and engage in pure, loving, devotional service, and again find our real sense of happiness and peace. He also appears himself as the Archa Vigraha, the deity form, so that we may practice serving him in this life. We have this tendency in this world to need to see things. Excuse me. With these senses, these eyes, hear things with these ears, touch things with these
Bless
hands,
you.
right? We all have these desires, right? The ears are always wanting to hear beautiful sounds. The eyes are always wanting to see beautiful sights. The hands are always wanting to touch nice things. We like to feel the warmth of the sun of our skin. We like to feel the kiss of the cool breeze when the sun gets a little too warm. All right? Like to swim in the nice waters that Krishna has provided. And all these senses can just, any one of these senses, Krishna warns us in the Bhagavad Gita, can take us away, can take the mind away. We can become distracted. We can become led astray. We can get sucked back into material consciousness and forget who we are, what this life is really for, and what it's all about. But on the other hand, Krishna comes in his deity form and allows us to engage these exact same senses in his service. We can hear the beautiful chanting of his names. We can hear the beautiful sounds of the instruments being played in glorification of Krishna. We can smell the nice incense and the flowers. We can make beautiful arrangements on the altar with flower garlands and different flower arrangements and different ornaments and paraphernalia, with candles and different things to make a very nice thing for the eyes to feast upon the form of the Lord. So all of these things that can drag us deeper and deeper into the mire of the material world, when used correctly by Krishna's guidance through the agency of his bona fide spiritual master, these very same things can be used to allow us to again reconnect with Krishna in the most intimate, loving relationships. So we are being advised and encouraged to take advantage of all these things that Krishna has given, all these methods that Krishna is giving us. Come back to him, become reattracted to him. But at the same time, it's also advised that while simultaneously cultivating our relationship with Krishna through this process of Archana Vigraha, one must also be trying to spread the mission of Lord Chaitanya. Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita that no one is more dear to him than one who is passing on the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita, passing on the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, passing on the teachings of the Parampara system. So while this engaging in our sadhana bhakti processes of hearing and chanting and worshiping are very important. It's also very important that we also engage in the service of our spiritual master and Krishna, in the spreading of Krishna's message to others. Text 40. If one can afford to, one should offer the deity fine rice, boiled in milk with clarified butter and molasses. While chanting the same original mantra, one should offer all this to the fire. One should offer all the prasad to a Vaishnava, or offer him some of the prasad and then take some himself. After this, one should offer the deity Achman, and then betel nut, and then again worship the Lord. Thereafter, one should silently murmur the mantra 108 times and offer prayers to the Lord for his glorification. Then one should circumambulate the Lord, and finally, with great delight and satisfaction, offer obeisances, falling straight like a rod, dandavat. After touching to one's head, all the flowers and water offered to the deity, one should throw them in a sacred place. Then one should feed at least 2 Brahmins with sweet rice. One should perfectly honor the respectable Brahmins one is fed, and then, after taking their permission, one should take prasad with his friends and relatives. For that night, one should observe strict celibacy, and the next morning, after bathing again, with purity and attention, one should bathe the deity of Vishnu with milk and worship him according to the methods formally stated in detail. Worshipping Lord Vishnu with great faith and devotion, and living only by drinking milk, one should follow this vow. One should also offer oblations to the fire and feed the Brahmins, as mentioned before. In this way, until 12 days have passed, one should observe this Payo-vrata, worshiping the Lord every day, executing the routine duties, performing sacrifices, and feeding the Brahmins. From Pratipat until the 13th day of the next bright moon, Sukla Trayodasi, one should observe complete celibacy, sleep on the floor, bathe 3 times a day, and thus execute the vow. During this period, one should not unnecessarily talk of material subjects or topics of sense gratification. One should be completely free from envy of all living entities, and one should be a pure and simple devotee of Lord Vasudeva. Thereafter, following the directions of the Shastras, with help from the Brahmins who know the Shastra, on the 13th day of the moon, one should bathe Lord Vishnu with 5 substances: milk, yogurt, ghee, sugar, and honey. Giving up the miserly habit of not spending money, one should arrange for the gorgeous worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu, who is situated in the heart of every living entity. With great attention, one must prepare an oblation of grains boiled in ghee and milk, and must chant the Purusha Shukta mantra. These offerings of food should be of various varieties of taste. In this way, one should worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, this is going to continue for a little bit more. But you can see these are the roots of our sadhana bhakti processes given to us by our disciplic succession. The difference is what's being instructed here to a deity is a short-term process, right? It's 12, 13 days long. And it's being executed. Why? To achieve a certain material goal, right? What does a deity want? She wants her sons, the demigods, to be resituated back in the heavenly planets. Whereas we are very fortunate coming in this Parampara system, the Brahma Gaudiya Madhva Sampradaya, where we're given a process of worship that is not meant for a temporary solution. It's not a means to an end. We're not trying to achieve some temporary material goal by our worship, by our process of worshiping the deity and chanting Krishna's names and honoring the Vaishnavas and honoring the spiritual master. Our goal is different. Our goal is to purify our heart, purify our mind, purify our consciousness to the point where we're actually tasting bhakti, where we're actually tasting love for Krishna, where the process becomes the goal. It's not like we're worshiping these, Vishnu for 12 days in order to get something. Once I've got what I want, I can forget about worshiping Vishnu. Our goal is very different. Our goal is to come to the point of reawakening our lost love of Krishna, so that every breath we take, every step we take, every action that we take is an action of loving service to Krishna and our spiritual master. Because as stated in the first canto of the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, the first chapter, it is only through unmotivated and uninterrupted devotional service that the heart can be fulfilled. Uninterrupted and unmotivated. We're not worshiping Vishnu in order to get some better situation for our children. We're not worshiping the spiritual master in order to be able to become powerful again, to defeat the demigods and take over the heavenly planets like Bali Maharaj did, right? We have a very different goal. Our goal is the highest goal. Our goal is to actually become resituated in love. Text 53. One should satisfy the spiritual master, Acharya, who is very learned in Vedic literature, and should satisfy his assistant priest, known as Hota, Ugata, Adhurya, and Brahma. One should please them by offering them clothing, ornaments, and cows. This is the ceremony called Vishnu Aradhana, or worship of Lord Vishnu. O most auspicious lady, one should perform all the ceremonies under the direction of learned acharyas and should satisfy them and their priest. By distributing prasad, one should also satisfy the Brahmins and others who have assembled. One should satisfy the spiritual master and assistant priest by giving them cloth, ornaments, cows, and also some monetary contribution. And by distributing prasad, one should satisfy everyone assembled, including even the lowest of men, the chandalas, eaters of dog flesh. purport. In the Vedic system, prasad is distributed, as recommended here, without discrimination as to who may take the prasad. Regardless of whether one is a Brahmin, Sudra, Vaishya, Kshatriya, or even the lowest of men, a Chandala, one should be welcome to accept prasad. However, when the Chandalas, the lower class or poorer class, are taking prasad, this does not mean that they become Narayan or Vishnu. Narayan is situated in everyone's heart, but this does not mean Narayan is a Chandala or a poor man. Excuse me. These allergies are driving me nuts. I'm going to reread that. But this does not mean that Narayan is a Chandala or poor man. The Mayavad philosophy of accepting a poor man as Narayan is the most envious and atheistic movement in Vedic culture. This mentality should be completely given up. Everyone should be given an opportunity to take prasad, but this does not mean that everyone has the right to become Narayan. So, some people may think, oh, especially those born in India in the higher caste, may think that they're very fortunate to have been born in India in a Brahmin family or whatever. But in many ways, we're even more fortunate to be born as Chandalas and lower, Mlechas in the Western world, because our consciousness haven't been contaminated by all these misconceptions that have become prominent in so-called Hindu or Vedic culture in India nowadays. There was a nice story related on was it on Evening Sankirtan the other night? Where I think it was Siddheswar Das was recounting a story of there was a disciple of Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada in India, and he had gone out to do some business for Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada or some preaching or something. And he ended up going to this temple where they were worshiping Krishna. And he went in and observed the artik of Krishna. And he's a Western devotee. He had a Western body on, you know, and he's in there and so the pujari, after the artik, comes out and gives him some prasad, and he offers him a blessing. He says, oh, I bless you that in your next life that you could take birth in India and maybe take birth in my family and come worship in my temple and in this way, you know, become purified. You know, I bless you, and he feels like he's offered this wonderful blessing. So this disciple goes back and relates what's happened to Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada says, you should go find this pujari and you should offer him my blessing. My blessing is that he may take birth in America in his next life, be born as a Malecha, and come in contact with this Krishna consciousness movement. And in that way, he can take part in Lord Chaitanya's mission and become very pleasing to Krishna. So we have this tendency to try to judge things, right, using our limited intelligence and our material senses, and we think, oh, you know, this is this, and this is good, this is bad, this is fortunate, this is unfortunate. But anything that allows us to come in contact with Krishna's pure representative and take shelter of him and follow his instructions and thus come closer to Krishna. This is the only auspicious thing. Text 56. One should distribute Vishnu Prasad to everyone, including the poor man, the blind man, the non-devotee, and the non-Brahmin, knowing that Lord Vishnu is very pleased when everyone is sumptuously fed with Vishnu Prasad. The performer of Jagna should then take Prasad with his friends and relatives. Every day from Pratipat to Trayodashi, one should continue the ceremony to the accompaniment of dancing, singing, and beating of a drum, the chanting of prayers, and all auspicious mantras, and recitation of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. In this way, one should worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the religious, ritualistic ceremony known as Payo-vrata, by which one may worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I received this information from Brahma, my grandfather, and now I have described it to you in all detail. O most fortunate lady, establish in your mind in a good spirit, execute this process of Payo-vrata, and thus worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead Keshava, who is inexhaustible. This Payo-vrata is also known as Sarvajana. Sarvajana. I can't speak. This Payo-vrata is also known as Sarvajana. I still can't say it. Sorry. Sarvajagna. In other words, by performing this sacrifice, one can perform all other sacrifices automatically. This is also acknowledged to be the best of all ritualistic ceremonies. O gentle lady, it is the essence of all austerities, and it is the process of giving charity and pleasing the Supreme Controller. Purport. Ardhananam Sevasham Vishnur Aradhanam Param. This is a statement made by Lord Shiva to Parvati. Worshipping Lord Vishnu is the supreme process of worship, and how Lord Vishnu is worshipped in this Payo-vrata ceremony has been fully described. The ultimate goal of life is to please Vishnu by Varnashram Dharma. The Vedic principles of 4 Varnas and 4 ashrams are meant for the worship of Vishnu. The Krishna consciousness movement is also Vishnu Aradhanam, or worship of Lord Vishnu, according to the age. The Payo-vrata method of Vishnu Aradhanam is enunciated long, long ago by Kashyapa Muni to his wife Aditi in the heavenly planets, and the same process is bona fide on earth even now. Especially for this age of Kali, the process accepted by the Krishna consciousness movement is open to hundreds and thousands of Vishnu temples, temples of Radha Krishna, Jagannath, Balaram, Sitaram, Gaur-Nitai, and so on. Performing prescribed worship in such temples of Vishnu, and thus worshiping the Lord, is as good as performing the Payo-vrata ceremony recommended here. The Payo-vrata ceremony is performed from the 1st to the 13th day of the bright fortnight of the moon. But in our Krishna consciousness movement, Lord Vishnu is worshipped in every temple according to a schedule of 24 hours of engagement in performing kirtan, chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, offering palatable food to Lord Vishnu, and distributing this food to Vaishnavas and others. These are authorized activities, and if the members of the Krishna consciousness movement stick to these principles, they will achieve the same result one gains by observing the Payo-vrata ceremony. Thus, the essence of all auspicious activities, such as performing jagna, giving in charity, observing vratas, and undergoing austerities is included in the Krishna consciousness movement. The members of this movement should immediately and sincerely follow the process already recommended. Of course, sacrifices meant to please Lord Vishnu. Jagnai Sankirtan Prayir Jananti Hi Samadesha. In Kali Yuga, those who are intelligent perform the Sankirtan Jagna. One should follow this process conscientiously. Text 61. This is the best process for pleasing the transcendental Supreme Personality of Godhead, known as Adhokshaja. It is the best of all regulative principles, the best austerity, the best process of giving charity, and the best process of sacrifice. Purport. The Supreme Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 1866, Sarva dharmam parityajya mamikam saranam vraja aham tvam sarva prabhevyo moksha yishyami yamasa suchaha. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reaction. Do not fear. Unless one pleases the Supreme Personality of Godhead according to his demand, no good result will come from any of his actions. Dharma vanishtita pumsham vivashashena kashtuta ya. Notapateya yadratim shramam eva hikavalam. The occupational activities a man performs according to his own position are only so much useless labor if they do not provoke attraction for the message of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhagavad Gita, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 1:2-8. If one is not interested in satisfying Lord Vishnu, Vasudeva, all his so-called auspicious activities are fruitless. Moghasha moga karmana mogha jnana vitishtasha. Because he is bewildered, he is baffled in his hopes, baffled in his activities, and baffled in his knowledge. In this regard, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti remarks, Na pushakam anupashakatena adinakata tatvam. One cannot equate the potent and the impotent. Among modern Mayavadis, it has become fashionable to say that whatever one does or whatever path one follows is all right. But these are all foolish statements. Here it is forcibly affirmed that this is the only method for success in life. Ishvara taravam vinasmaram eva vipalam. Unless Lord Vishnu is satisfied, all one's pious activities, ritualistic ceremonies, and jagnas are simply for show and have no value. Unfortunately, foolish people do not know the secret of success. Na te vibhu sarvagatim hi Vishnu. They do not know that real self-interest ends in pleasing Lord Vishnu. Text 62. Therefore, my dear gentle lady, follow this ritualistic vow, strictly observing the regulative principles. By this process, the Supreme Person will very soon be pleased with you and will satisfy all your desires. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 8th canto, 16th chapter of the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam entitled Executing the Payo-vrata Process of Worship. Haribol.
Haribol. Krishna.
So we have another 10 minutes. Does anyone want to offer any comments or questions, or to invite Rupanuga back for another kirtan? I vote for the kirtan myself.
I was about to say the same thing.
We good with that? All right.
Sound okay to you, Kayla?
Thank you guys so much. Sorry for all of the snorkeling and stuff in the background there. Material bodies.
Could hardly hear it, but
Ignorance.
sorry for your allergies. I know it's no fun.
Krishna knows what I need.
I was suffering last week from that.
Oh,
Aaron says he's suffering from something too. What did you say, Aaron?
what are you suffering from, Aaron? Krishna Dasi's asking.
Oh, allergies.
Allergies.
Sorry for, yeah. Not so much today, but last week I was pretty badly.
It's a
So,
spring,
yep.
I think. Getting thingy in there.
Okay, let's see. What's it gonna
Ruby, could you play a tune that I want you to play?
be? If I can.
'Cause I got it from you.
Oh, that's a good step in the right direction.
Yeah. It was that,
That gives me a better. Oh, do I need a capo?
oh, I don't know. I'll
Okay.
She'll give you the capo.
Krishna Prastaya Bhuta. You did it on
Oh yeah, I know that one. But yeah, I do it without the capo. Is that
Yeah,
okay?
no, fine.
I mean, actually, I got that from Narada. I forget. He told me the name of the guy whose song it is, and he does it with the capo on the first fret. But
I like it any way you do it.
listen. Namo Siddha Swarupananda Amamsa Namine Buddha Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prastayate Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasade Gaur Bhakta Vrindam Chaitanya Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasade Gaur Bhakta Vrindam
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Jaya Guru Dev. 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 Krishna, Krishna, Jaya sweet Krishna.